Welcome to Creative. Today this is a very short solo show, just using up a few bits of data that's left available until tomorrow, when I get the new allocation from Libsyn, which is the platform that I use to upload the podcasts. So I thought today I just wanted to do a little resume of what I've been working on. First of all, I've been doing a lot of work for a mentoring project for musicians and teachers, and I just wanted to say that by trying to communicate and create a community may be a way forward. Not that I necessarily have the answers for anything, because as you're probably aware, when I'm interviewing people, I'm always fascinated by how diverse people's creative ideas are and how they find sort of levels of success in what they do. And sometimes they are unaware of how they succeed. It seems actually that even when somebody knows what they do that appears to work for them, it's only a story. It's their way of being able to come up with a reason of how and why, but it might not actually be the reality at all. I think about things when things go well for me. I don't really learn much from it. It's when things go wrong, I learn a lot. And I think that's quite a common experience for people, that you learn more from your mistakes and failures than you do from your successes. Because you can do something again the same way and it doesn't work. So this is something that sort of fascinates me. So I'm just looking at things now with the eye to, sometimes it's about asking better questions and different questions instead of coming up with an answer to a question. So let me explain a little bit more about that. Sometimes you get a situation where, like for instance, this COVID situation, and people are asking questions that are too far downstream. I think sometimes we need to ask questions that are further upstream. In other words, like, instead of why are so many older people dying in care homes, we should be asking why there are so many people in care homes. It's that type of thinking, go further upstream. What's going on in society? That situation is apparent. So with the world of music, I have a lot of people that I know, musicians, who have basically got no work at all. And the question that I'm looking at is, why is it that everything is predicated on cramming a load of people into a small space to make it cost effective, in the sort of paradigm that we've got? And that's true with flying in an aeroplane, to people in a theatre, to festival goers, to getting on a bus. It's always the same thing. of how many people can we cram in to a small space. Why have we ended up with that? It's an interesting point. And something like this, which is, what we call a black swan event. This term has been actually in existence for a long time because there was a period of time that all swans were white until somebody discovered that actually there were a lot of swans that were black, but they just happened to be in a place that we hadn't discovered at that point. And Nassim Taleb used that phrase in his book Black Swan about the financial crisis of 2008. It's the unknown unknowns. And it's not until you get a thing like this COVID thing that we start to look at something that's been staring us in the face that we ignored. Now, going back to the guitar mentoring, I wouldn't say that I've got the answers, but sometimes in the discussions with people, we start asking different questions, and that leads to something very different in the mind of people. So a lot of this has been stimulated by the interviews I've done with people, not just on the podcast, the creative podcast, but also with people that I've been mentoring. So just to sort of round this up, I'm suggesting, if you feel so inclined, that going onto my Patreon and making a small donation, the contributions are as little as $3 a month, which is obviously less than a price of a coffee. That you could help fund this. Because obviously I'm not asking money from the people that I'm interviewing for the mentoring, and also it helps me with the Ikaro charity, although it's not a charitable donation as such. But what I'm doing with a lot of the Ikaro stuff is that it's free stuff that goes out to the schools that helps children use their creative skills. And that's often off the back end of something that I've done that I've put money in, but I need to sort of reformat a video or whatever that goes out then free to the schools. So extra to that little ramble and asking for some support there, I'm also asking for anyone that you would think would be an interesting person to talk to on the podcast. I've got lots of people lined up, but I'm always interested in a different angle that maybe that I haven't thought of. So I'm always willing and keen to hear from you, because it helps guide the programme into waters that I hadn't thought of. So with that, I'd like to say thanks for your support up to now. As I say, I've got some great interviews literally about to come out in the next week, with some other ones lined up. So I look forward to speaking to you then. So until then, all the best.